Welcome to the FITnatics. Today I'm here with Grecia Ramos, who is a pastry chef and owner of Baked. Hi, Grecia. How are you today?
Hi, how are you? Doing good, working like always.
Staying busy in the shop. That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, Grecia, let's go ahead and get started. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about your background and what inspired you to open Baked.
Hi, I started baking probably in my teenage years. My mom was always the one having like the get-togethers at our house. My dad would barbecue, my mom would make the sides. My mom would finish off the barbecue because my dad would burn it. So it was kind of nice when I got introduced into the whole shindig of hosting things. I was able to help my mom with desserts, which was one thing she was like, you know what, I don't want to do that. You take care of it. I'd be making flans and, choco flans, cupcakes, whatnot. And then as I got older, in my 20s, I decided I was going to kind of make them for friends and family, kind of just sell them on the side. And that was nice. They're terrible cakes now looking back. If anybody would have sent me pictures, I'd be like, do not put my name on those. But it was a really
Wow.
great start. It was a really great start. I was trying to do fondant or whatnot, and that's not my forte whatsoever. And then once I met my husband, he was doing barbecue in Austin, and he was like, "Let's move to San Antonio. Let's open up our own place." And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And he was like, "Do desserts for me. Like, start making cakes. Start, let's bring in something different to barbecue." At the time, barbecue was very much cobblers, pies, banana pudding, biscuits. That's pretty much it. And then I came into barbecue and he was like, let's do tres leches. That's what you've been doing. And then from there, it evolved to tres leches. It evolved to tarts. It evolved to basically everything I have here at Baked. And that's my big push was starting at 2M, which was a huge blessing for me. It really opened up doors and it really, um, it really got me to where I'm at right now. It was a really great start there.
And that 2M, give us what is 2M? So for people who don't know what the 2M.
Yes, so 2M is our very first barbecue spot. It's my husband and his best friend. They partnered up. They opened up a barbecue spot in the south side or southeast side of San Antonio. So we're off of WW White. It's our very first location. It's very Tex-Mex. It's a lot of the flavors that my husband and his partner grew up with. You have your esquites, you have your traditional barbecue meats. But a lot of the sides are more like home. It's the stuff that we grew up with, the flavors we grew up with. So it's very Tex-Mex, very good. And then we just opened up our second location here in Castroville, right next door to Baked, called Blue Lacy, which is same concept, barbecue, just with a little bit of a more of a twist here.
Gracia, that sounds phenomenal. We are talking businesses, management. I mean, well, first of all, let me say this based on what you just shared with us. I love how you had right now, whether it was planned or not, you were very open and honest, like saying, early on, my cakes were not good. And I love the fact that you were self-reflective about that and can be honest about it and put it
Absolutely.
out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. We all start somewhere, right? And if you were gifted and you were able to start here, good for you. Like, more props to you because I just the learning experience from the beginning to now has definitely been something that um you can tell how I've grown in the pastry, like in my pastries. But yeah, that's one of the things that I always try to let people know. They see you where you're at right now and they're like, oh, it's always been like this. She's always been good. Or, maybe she's one thing that I hear a lot. And I get it is it's because of her husband. And yeah, absolutely. I've been able to have, doors open, thankfully, because my husband has been, very engulfed in what it is that he loves. And that was able to open up places for me, which is amazing. But it doesn't come with a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know a lot about barbecue. I know what I know because he's taught me, and then he knows what he knows because I've taught him in baking. So it's a really nice partnership. And it's one of those things where I always like for people to know, like, not everything starts at the top. You're going to start at the bottom. There's going to be things that are going to be terrible because I look at my stuff and I'm like, girl, how are you selling that? Like, the fact that somebody paid, thank you. Come back to Baked. I got you. We're doing something different. But we are like, that's one thing that I want people to know. Nothing ever starts right away. It takes some time.
Thank you. You know what, Gracia? We can wrap it right there. But we're not going to,
Love
simply
it.
because you're right on. All of my clients, they're high achieving women, business women, executive women. And you're right on point, myself included, is that we all start at some point, right? And there's
Yes.
opportunities to get better. And those resources can come from all different sorts of places. They can come from
Absolutely.
friends, they can come from spouses. I can definitely resonate with you. My husband's a producer, editor, and he has helped me in a lot of ways to give me the encouragement to start a business.
Yes.
And does he help in ways that have helped me in my business currently? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But as you said, Gracia, I have to do the groundwork. I have to do.
Exactly.
It's not like, oh, here it is. Can you do
Yes.
it for me? No.
Girl, I
So
wish. I wish my husband was like, here it is, I got it, you go. And I'm like, yes, like I picked a good one. But it's not, unfortunately, doors open, but it's up to us to do the work.
absolutely, and as it should, because when we do the work, Gracia, and you're a testament to that, the success comes, the
Absolutely.
opportunities come.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so then with that being said, how do you balance self-care, yourself, your well-being with a demanding business, businesses, should I say?
Right now, I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just started self care. That's something that I feel like we all neglect when we do have businesses. We tend to engulf ourselves in our business and what it is that we're doing, whether it be our craft, whether it be the business, whether it be family, whatever it is. You tend to engulf yourself so much into it that you kind of neglect yourself. And I did for the longest time. I would have been working. I would be doing, all these things, and I was the last one to fill my own cup. And finally, after being open, I'm about to be open a year in about 2 3 weeks. It took a little bit, but that's where I had to learn that yes, my business will take my all, and I will be here. I'm the person that they call at 1 in the morning if something's broken. I'm the person that comes in if somebody calls in. I'm the person that comes and fixes things when nobody wants to tell me that they're getting messed up because they're afraid that I'm going to say something, and I'm like, guys, just tell me beforehand. But those are the things that you kind of engulf yourself in and that you forget. And for me right now has been a very big learning experience where yes, I want my business to grow and I want my business to be 100%, but that's not going to happen by me engulfing myself and depleting me. So I've made it a point to where every day I have some time with my husband, which is a really big one for me. Um, Giving your spouse or your relationship that self-care is one of the biggest things that I have found in my foundation that helps me to have my own self-care, right? So if my
Mhm.
foundation at my home is good, me and my husband are good, it makes it so much easier for everything else in my life to be able to come through. And right now that's one that we separate home and our businesses. We know that when we're home, we talk about business, we get it over and done with, quick, quick, quick. Then we do our thing, we watch movies. Well, I love to do my little face every now and then because you got to keep that thing up. So I'll do my makeup, or I'll do myself my routine for my face. And then I'm like, you want me to do yours? So you want a little nose, what is it called, the little nose strip with me? You want to, do you want to try this out? Let me, those are the little things that I've been doing. And then I kind of started working out. Nobody hold me again. No, nobody hold me to this right now. Okay. I'm barely
Okay.
going on a month. I still don't show up every day, but I show up. I've probably done the most exercise I've done in the past 4 years in this past month. So that's a win. That's a win for me. But
Yes.
those are little things that I'm changing, just trying to get myself more motivated, take care of me, whether it be working out with my husband or being with my dogs, or, just looking at new things for myself. But it is something that it took me a really long time to do. It's not something that I kind of found.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you on that, Grecia, because this is where the rubber meets the road for a lot of us
Hmm.
in terms of these high achieving business owners. Like, what was that point for you where you're just like, that's it? I have to, like you said, about a month ago, you started saying, I have to start doing something for my body, for myself. What was it? Did you feel something? And I'm going to say this. And when we spoke previously, you said something that really struck me. And I thought, ooh, this is interesting. You said, I've got to pick up 50-pound bags of
Yeah.
flour. I mean, you're working it.
Yes.
So tell me, what
I
got
mean,
it like over the hump?
it definitely was that. We know we get orders 2 times a week. Our flowers are 50 pounds each. So I order about 12 to 13 throughout the week, plus the
Mhm.
sugars, plus, it's not like we're buying small cases from HEB where you're getting like, your small little egg carton. We're getting cases of egg cartons. So as you're moving things, you start noticing, ooh, my hips are kind of, stiff. My knees
Mhm.
are kind of hurting. And I'm not young anymore. In my mind, I'm still a 17-year-old, 21-year-old, parting it up here. But here, I'm
Mhm.
getting closer to my 40s, right? And things start changing. Things start, creaking all of a sudden. You're like, oh, I didn't hear that before. This is kind of hurting. And it was one of those where my lower back was starting to, ache. I would wake up in the morning and I was tired. I was more exhausted than I was when I would actually get my 6 to 8 hours of sleep when I was getting my 2 to 4, right? But when I was getting my 2 to 4, I was also dying throughout the day. So I had to find that median. And I realized that when I would go work out, I would have like this little spurt of energy. And I'm like, oh, where did that come from?
Okay, Gracia, tell me how mindset plays into your day-to-day life.
Oh, so I'm thankful that I woke up today, right? So that's like my very first thought. I'm like, well, I'm up, I'm here. What are we gonna do with it? Um, it's one of those things where like you have to wake up with whatever mindset you wake up with is whatever day you're going to have.
Mhm.
I get it. There's times where like you wake up with a great mindset and the day just goes to complete and utter poop. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna lie, that was today for me. I woke up happy. I was up early. Well, not that early. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I woke up early. I was up. I was doing good, and then I get to the bake shop. My AC's out. My proofer's out. I was a little late, so my front of house girl had to leave. There was so many things going on. And I could have easily just made it, a day of me being upset, mad, and just, f the world. But we did it. We just said, hey, you know what? I got a landlord. I got people that I got to call. People are going to come fix it. Best thing I can do is just change my menu for tomorrow. I didn't get to laminate, so tomorrow we won't have lamination. So it makes me sad because I was going to bring in some new products. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And sometimes things don't happen for a reason. So my biggest mindset is if it doesn't happen then, it's going to happen. Just don't push it, right? If you're late
Oh,
one day, the light turned red for too long, guess what? You probably got saved from something. So today might have just been one of those days. So I'm okay with it. Got to have a good mindset on that.
so what I call that, Gracia, from my experience and my ground, that's a full-blown growth mindset. And that's one that definitely is illustrated by your level of success because you're absolutely right. If we crumbled every time something didn't go our way or didn't work out, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so
Absolutely.
it's very important to reinforce that yes, mistakes happen, things get screwed up, people, you can pile it on, but how do we respond to it? How do we react to it? Sometimes we're better than
Absolutely.
others. But just like you said, is like, okay, what can I do now? What's the next step?
Yes.
What's the next thing to do? And
Yes.
making those decisions not only has a big impact on how you feel daily, not just mentally, but physically, because that's important. Those
Yes.
around you, your employees, your spouse, everybody sees that.
Yes.
And if you start crumbling, getting frustrated and stuff, guess what's going to happen when they get to that point?
Yep. Yep. And it's true. I mean, it's one of those things where like you set the tone in your business, right? You set the tone the minute you walk in. If your staff, as soon as you walk in, buckles up and it's like, damn, she's here. That is not something that I want to walk into. You know what I mean? I want to walk in and know that the girls didn't skip a beat, music's still going, conversation's still going. Things might be getting burnt, but they're like, chef, today, just, I don't know what happened. It happens. Was I always like this? Absolutely not. If you had probably talked to me 2 years ago, I would have been the cranky person where, one thing just messed up my entire day, or, I would just be like, no, like, this is not okay. And then just crumbled, right? It took a lot of learning. It took a lot of mess ups. It took a lot of losing sometimes people. it takes people to really hold you accountable. That's why accountability is big, to let you know this is not okay, and this, you should maybe grow on certain things. And I had very good mentors that let me know, like, you can't be an angry chef. Nobody likes an angry chef. Nobody wants to work with someone that as soon as something goes wrong, the entire, vibe just goes out the window. Like, and it was a big learning experience for me. And now here I am, 2 years later. I still have a girl that was working for me 2 years ago that I was trying to teach, and she'll still look at me nowadays and she's like, who are you? Because that's not how you taught me. And I'm like, no, you're right. Like, I didn't know how to teach, I didn't know how to lead, I didn't know how to even just be a boss at that time. I still, at the time, I was so engulfed in what I was doing that I was like, no, 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 no. If it's not like this, it's not, it never, it shouldn't be that way. And it was a lot of mentoring from several people that had me grow as a pastry chef, as a leader, as a person in general. And it's always really nice, even though I know she like tells me, she's just like, it's like I'm your first kid. Like, you messed up with me and now the rest of them get it easy. And I'm like, you're not wrong, but I'm super thankful that she's still stuck around. She's seen the growth. She always points it out, and she's like, man, she's like, you are not who you were. And I'm like, thank you. Like, that's a big one. Even though I didn't like who I was at the time, it's still such a big thing for me to hear somebody tell me, like, it's really nice to see that you are not that angry person, or that person that's just sticking to something. My blinders are off, I'm seeing more, I'm understanding more, I am trying to fix things and find solutions rather than create more problems. So it's nice.
Wonderful, Gracia. So then, with that knowledge and with that being said, what do you say to other business owners, female business owners that are wanting to start their business and also want to prioritize their health and well-being?
Don't be afraid of ask for help. I feel like as women, we tend to, if somebody, and this is including myself, I am very much this way. If I have to ask you more than 2 times to do something, I'm going to do it myself, right? So we already have this mentality as women that we're like, you know what, I'm just going to do it myself. No one's going to do it the way I want it. No one's going to do it when I want it, how I want it. So we tend to take all of these things on, and again, that's where we kind of leave ourselves behind. So asking for help, I feel like, has become one of the things that I am very big on, and I have taught my staff to do. I have never asked for help before. I was very much in that mindset of, no, que chingados, yo lo hago sola. Like, I don't need anybody. Like, you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And that doesn't necessarily get you anywhere. You get more stagnant than you do, by just letting that veil of ego, or that veil of pride, kind of just go and be like, you know what, I do need help. And that's one thing that I did. This is why with my Sue, I'm like, we're gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna need help on that, I'm gonna need help with accountability. I hold myself accountable in so many other ways, but I just can't hold myself accountable in just eating well, or just going to the gym, or prioritizing myself for an hour, right? So that is where I have come out and I've asked for help, whether it be with my staff, and I'm like, hey girls, I need a day off today. Like, I have already been through the roof with, whether it be paperwork and payroll and, inventory, and having their schedules, and, things are getting messed up here, and it can get to be a lot. The asking for help has made me grow so much, because I also see and take in what other people are viewing, things that I'm missing, other people are seeing from the outside. So it's really nice in asking for help, just saying, hey, I can't, or I, not that I can't, or, because sometimes, like, I can't makes it feel like it's a failure, but it's not. It's more of like, I can't see something now, what do you see? Where can I have more, where can I work more? What can I fix? What can I do? Help is big, man. Help is big. We've gotten into this new society where, I feel like we're all starting to hopefully come together as women and really acknowledge each other, and push each other. And it's grown on me where there's women that'll reach out to me and they're like, hey, like, how did you do this? And I'm like, girl, I still don't got it together. So the fact that you're asking me for help is like, oh, thank you. But it is like, as long as you're asking for help, I feel like that's huge for us.
Absolutely. And I'll say, I agree with you. I agree
Sorry,
with
I
you
didn't mean to
100%.
ramble.
Oh, no. That's good because we want to hear from somebody who's doing it, Grecia, and you are doing it. You are making it
Thank
happen.
you.
And I think to come, as they say, from really being in the thick of it, that's where we want to hear, not from someone, well, back in the day. No, you're in it
Yes.
right now. And
Yes.
how are you doing it? How are
Yes.
you making it through the tough things? How are you, getting to the next day? How are you taking care of yourself? So these are
Yes.
all things that I know lots of women, including myself, want to hear how others do what we're doing, which is,
Yeah.
creating a legacy for ourselves and our business and our families.
Absolutely.
And that does absolutely take support. And we cannot do it on our own, nor should it be done on your own. I think any great success, there's always a team of people, supporters.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
that was one of the things that I learned early on from my father was it wasn't necessarily he said ask for help. I just noticed that the resources, like, utilize your resources, ask over
Yep.
here of that person. And it just grew with me. So I always think I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Like somebody else did
Yes.
this. Let me see,
What
what
can
I
I
can do.
fix? Where can I make it me? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So here's something I was excited to ask you about because I am a sweets person, like
Hit
you
me.
wouldn't believe, Gracia. So with your delicious treats, a lot of people say, and I am a mindset and fitness coach, and I teach individuals how to eat moderately with their diets. I hear a lot of people say, well, you got to give up sweets if you want to be healthy. What do you say to that, Gracia?
No, man, it's hard. We're Mexican. We get the cafecito, the merienda. Like I remember the merienda when we would go to Mexico and they eat like 7 times a day. And I'm like, how do you fit this? Right. But I would always look forward to the merienda. And that's like, you get your cafecito, you get your pan dulce at the end of the day, you sit around with the tias and you're, comadreando. So it's one of those where like I don't necessarily feel like, and I know there's going to be people, and maybe you included this, and be like, no, right? But for me, for example, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to want it more, right? So if
Yes.
you tell me I can't have this, I'm going to look at you and be like, bet, let me go eat a whole entire bag of that, and let me show you that I can, right? And it's crazy because my husband's trying to get me into like carnivore, and I'm like, I need my veggies. And he's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, I do. But that's just me, the fact that I don't putting me in a lane. I'm gonna want to create my own lane, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
no, I feel like maybe you shouldn't necessarily give them up. You should just have more control over it. Um, you don't have to eat the whole sandwich. Just cut it in half and enjoy half now. Maybe you'll have tomorrow. It's more of moderate control. Like as long as you've got that, you're good. I don't necessarily feel like everything needs to be pushed out. Besides, if I do say that everything needs to be pushed out, I'm kind of like putting myself out there.
Yeah, we're
So
not going to
no,
say
you
that.
do
No.
need sweets, just not that many.
Exactly. And actually, Grecia, I teach a course. It's called Moderation 365. And
There
what
you
it is,
go.
there you go. It's exactly it because I wouldn't be able to survive either if I couldn't have my
Yes.
sweets. So
Yes.
I found a way that, and it's very successful. And I had many clients go through it and learning how to have the things that they want in
In
moderation
moderation.
because
Yes.
we have to enjoy life. We have to find ways to
Yes.
enjoy ourselves in this world and this life. All right,
I
Grecia.
agree.
So let me ask you, I know you're a FITnatics. You like to stay active. What's your favorite exercise or what's your favorite workout or way to stay active?
Ooh. You know what? Surprisingly, anything that has to do with upper body, even though I don't like doing upper body, girl, I hate doing upper body. It hurts, and then I gotta lift things, and then I gotta do things, and then it gets crazy. So I don't necessarily do a lot of upper body, but I do like doing upper body. It's that little like. And the next morning when you're getting up and you're just like, I can't brush my teeth. It's a good
Oh my
feeling, right? So anything upper body, I'm always excited about, even though I'm not exactly the most happy about it. It's one of the probably the exercises that I really like to do. Upper
Great.
body day is
Wonderful.
nice.
Wonderful, Grecia. And tell us lastly, what is your favorite treat at Baked and what do we need to go and try?
So my favorite thing at Baked is our custard squares. I actually got that idea while I was in San Diego at Wayfair. I went up there for a month. I went to go stage. So staging is basically working for free for knowledge. And it was great. I was up there for a month. I got to work with them, in the back with them. I learned how to make croissants. I learned how to make breads. But the one thing that they had there was this really amazing pastry cream that I fell in love with. And they were super kind enough to be like, here you go, like this is what we do. And I was able to bring it back here. I changed a few little things, right? But for the most part, it's probably one of my favorite ones. It's a little custard square croissant. Inside it has custard. On the outside we put a bunch of fruits. So as you're biting in, you're getting like the buttery with like the baked custard and then the fruit. It's a really nice balance to where it's not overly sweet. I don't do overly sweet things just because I want to eat the entire thing and I want to not feel so nasty when I finish eating it. So that's probably my favorite thing here. And then right now we're about to do a Halloween croissant. It's going to be a black croissant with some ube. That's probably going to be my second thing that's going to be good here. I haven't tried it yet, but in my mind, it's good.
Exactly. Now, where can we find you, Grecia? Where can we find you? Tell us.
So we're located in Castroville. Our address is 409 Paris Street. We're in Paris Street making French croissants in Castroville. We're about 20 to 25 minutes away from center of San Antonio, downtown San Antonio. You can always come out here. We've got the barbecue place next door. We've got Blue. It's a really nice, quiet town. We have a bunch of businesses out in the square that you can check out, whether it be Magnolia and boba tea for coffees. We've got a plant shop down the street. We've got a couple boutiques. We've got an all local shop that has a bunch of just local fruit, milk, basically anything you can think of. So it's really nice. It's a really nice place to come check out.
Wonderful, Grecia, and we will check it out. You can guarantee that. Thank you so much for your time today and your expertise, Grecia.
No, thank you.
Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you guys again at the FITnatics. Until next time.
Absolutely. See you guys.